Playing shortstop, number 44, Emily De La Cruz.
Here are your hosts, Ricky Logan and Roger Straz.
Welcome to the Red Hot Reds podcast. That's Ricky. I'm Roger. It's Sunday at 8 p.m. and we are live. And we got a lot to go through. This is going to be definitely, I don't know, man. We are on the verge of being back. If we're not back already, I don't know. I guess we're going to talk about that today.
I think we're back. Did we ever leave?
This is huge. We got a huge week coming up after stinking up the first two games of the series against the hated Nationals. And I told you, Ricky, I was more afraid of the Nationals than I was the Rays. Even though the Nationals are bottom dwellers, they took 2 out of 3 from us. But we'll get into that later. Welcome to the show. This is the Red Hot Red podcast. We're really thankful that you're here. I mean, Sir Boy's already in the chat. He's got lots of things to say. Sir Boy is back. He's live. He's ranting and raving. I saw he was on Spaces earlier, so he's going to have a lot to say, and that's going to be great to contribute to the show. We appreciate you. We are here on Sundays 8 p.m. to recap the week, and what a week it was, Ricky. I mean, I don't know. Before we get into that, how was your week?
Pretty good. Didn't do a whole lot. It was hot, and that's about it. It was a little disappointing with the National Series, but it's funny because you look at, how down and out we were with the series, and then you turn around and look at the stats, and we're like 14 out of our last 22 or something like that. So we never were really out of it. It just felt like it when you lose a series at the Nationals like that.
Oh, for sure. And would you say that the Reds are red hot? Because it seems like
they are red hot.
It seems like that everyone is finally starting to recognize, as Sir Boy wanted to say, acknowledge the tribal chief leader, Ellie De La Cruz. Obviously, he's starting to come on. Not hitting home runs, but he's still good. I mean, we say it every week. He's still good. It seemed like, after the first 2 losses against Nationals, everyone was out. I was even on the verge, that button meme where you're pressing the red or white, but like this could have been 2025 season is over Elliott Rearing vibes. And unfortunately, baseball is not just two games in a series. They come back, they win the getaway day with a Lodolo win and just demolish the Rays. I mean, that was a playoff team, right? Or at least they were right there in the playoff chase. That's crazy.
Yeah, 10 out of their last 14 after today's win.
Well, how about that? How sweep it is. And
how sweep it is.
And getting out to our first topic, the Rays, they stink. Obviously, they are the model professional small market darling. But you know what? Guess what? The Cincinnati Reds are now, because we're gonna just take that mantle from them. We get it. They like to do all their things where they manipulate service time. They get guys on cheap contracts. They get rid of their big guys when they're basically going to get extended. But no, not anymore. The Rays, get out of here. 3 games, you're done. The most impressive part, I think, was, I don't know, like I was saying, it didn't feel like the Reds ever looked like they're going to lose any of the 3 games. I guess in certain moments, but it was less of a stressful series than others, in my opinion. There wasn't anything where they were making mental errors. They weren't necessarily giving up big innings against the Rays. They gave up 2 runs in the first 2 games and 1 run today. They gave up 5 runs in 3 games. I mean, shout out to our pitching staff. Shout out to our bullpen. That's fantastic. I don't know how else you can put it other than that. And also, we put up enough runs to win 3 straight games, right? What was it? 7 on Friday, 6 on Saturday, and got enough done today to get the sweep. So shout out to the Redlegs. That's how you play baseball, man. You just gotta get enough runs, and you gotta pitch well enough to take the series. And they took all 3. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, like if you would have said that the Reds outscored the Rays 15-5 after the way they played yesterday through 6, it didn't seem like it. They had that late spurt. Ellie, of course, coming in clutch with the bases loaded. I mean, him just in general yesterday. Could we just take a minute and just talk about how when we will have our segment on Ellie, but can we just acknowledge how great he is?
There we go. Sir Boy acknowledges him for sure. And I think the stat of the day, thanks to Fred. So like the exit velocity on that hit that you're talking about, they got the 2 runs, right? It was like 72 miles an hour. And I think basically, he hits them where they ain't. That's basically how you play baseball, right? The Pete Rose way, hit them where they ain't. And I think also the stat on top of that Fred put is that hitters are hitting 1,000% where they hit them where they ain't. So that's I think that's a reliable stat. It sounds right, feels right. I'm pretty sure, that checks out with all the analytics community as well. So shout out to Fred for that fantastic stat. Don't have to hit the ball 120 miles an hour to get, a 2-run single. I mean, that's baseball, right? Just hit them where they ain't. So shout out to Fred on that one. Shout out to the anti-analytics manager. You were talking about that they got that spurt late. It kind of was spurred on by Mr. Francona getting thrown out for arguing balls and strikes. So, shout out to interim manager Freddie Benavides for riding out and getting that W. I know it's still, I think the W still goes to Francona, unfortunately, but shout out to Freddie Benavides. Isn't it weird? Just a little small side tangent. Isn't it weird that Francona gets ejected and he also doesn't do the press? Like, he doesn't do the press conference? Like, is that you're ejected from the press conference too? Like, why is that? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
You're like pseudo banned from the game for a day.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure, like in soccer, you get red carded. You can still go to the press and they talk to you about it. Like, it's not like you're ejected from the media room as well. Like, I don't know. It's just me. Maybe he was just into such a foul mood he skipped it. I'm not sure if that's how it works or it doesn't, but that's just a little side thing. But yeah, I don't know. We're getting blown up in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're excited about this week because this is a big week coming up. We've got, obviously, the Reds coming off this sweep, going into the Dodgers and whatnot. But the trade deadline is coming up. And everybody on X has an opinion. I don't even know where my opinion lands, exactly what the Reds should do exactly. We've been talking about it for a lot the last couple weeks. But, I don't know. They need to do something, right? Like, this can't be a situation where they stand pat or they go for some team's unknown reliever that just to get a body into there to say, hey, we did something, but it wasn't. I don't know. I don't even know exactly if they should go for the big names either. Like, I get it. Eugenio Suarez is red hot.
That seems like the stars are aligning for that one.
Except if it's selling the farm, which is, I think, what all the Twitter gossip is about, is that Arizona knows the Reds are desperate to get him, and he's probably desperate to get back to Cincinnati. So, maybe there's some sort of going back and forth, with calls and stuff like that. Like, hey, we want Sal Stewart. And then the Reds are like, no.
Oh.
So, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, where do you land in terms of, like, what should the Reds do? What do you think they're going to do?
So I put out a Suarez trade proposal article this week, and I think it's enough. Definitely not Sal Stewart. I'll tell you that much. He's the number 2 prospect. You're not giving up a number 2 prospect for a rental. I'm okay with giving up Chase Petty, although he struggled yesterday. I think in my proposal, I had a major league player and 2 prospects. So my major league player, which is currently in AAA, Christian Encarnacion Strand. I think Arizona has a need for first base. Spencer Steers kind of got that locked up, in my opinion, at first base. And we see how CES is on the Reds roster, and he has his moments, but he's a high chase rate guy. Career low 200 hitter, and So my two prospects are two of either Chase Petty, Edwin Arroyo, or Carlos Jorge. That's would be Petty is number 6, I think, and then Arroyo's number 8, or it could be flip flopped, and then Jorge is number 20 on the prospect list. So three prospects, you pick two of them, and then you give up a basically major league ready talent in Encarnacion Strand, who has 5 years of team control left, and it might be it could be enough to get it done for a 34-year-old rental. You know, if he was like 27, if it was for Juan Soto back when he played for the Nationals, I mean, yeah, you give up a Sal Stewart for 2 years of him, but yeah, I don't think that I don't go with anything crazy. So yeah, Edwin Arroyo, Chase Petty, or Carlos Jorge, one of those three, two of those three, and then CES.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, Sir was saying, absolutely not to Sal Stewart, which is what I'm afraid is kind of happening. What you're proposing, I think, is fair, but if you're the Diamondbacks, I guess you're trying to get something for Eugenio Suarez before he, you know, his contract expires. They obviously aren't looking to extend him or anything of that nature. But, like, it seems to be a situation where it's just, I don't know. If you're the desperate party, hopefully that, I mean, the worst case scenario is that the Reds just don't get the deal done because Diamondbacks are asking too much. You like to think the front office is on the same wavelength in terms of the guys that you're talking about, not being terribly high on them. I'm not sure exactly what they think of Christian Encarnacion Strand. They obviously have sent him down to the minors a lot, and he mashes there just like he has like just today, right, or the other day. He's just crushing pitches left and right. But there's even like a breakdown of Greg Kuffner, shout out to him, Red Daily 4, where he got an RBI single on a ball that's like 3 feet off the plate, like just swinging at bad stuff. He's obviously strong enough to lift it over the infield and get that win or get that RBI. But like that's exactly why possibly he's not working out in the majors, which is completely why I'm on board with you saying hopefully he's the major league ready guy or the guy that has the major league experience that will be dealt or will be at least enticing enough to say a Diamondbacks to say, yeah, maybe we can fix him. A big, strong guy that can play first base. They just traded Josh Naylor. I know they have Pavin Smith there, but, you know, maybe DH for CES as well. But maybe that's the guy. I'd like to think so. But obviously you don't know what exactly the Diamondbacks front office is really trying to get. From what we could tell, the Yankees and the Mariners are out, unless the Mariners again go back into the market and try to get Suarez. But they've already made their big deals, or a big deal, with Naylor going to the Mariners and McMahon, I think you said, went to from the Rockies to New York. So yeah, so like like you said, the stars seem to be aligning. I definitely don't think – I know Robert's in there. I'm not sure about him. I think he's possibly a San Diego Padre when it's all said and done. Based on
Philly. I've seen Phillies too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But again, that's fine. That's not me trying to say that the Reds shouldn't buy. It's more like we need to buy the right guy. And third base has kind of been a mess for the Reds, to be honest with you. Noel Marte has had his moments, right? Santiago Espinal is now a first baseman apparently. So, like, you know, he's not going to be there at third base. And you know, like Lux and whatnot sometimes will be there from time to time. But it's not necessarily – I don't think we have that third baseman. And we definitely don't have a guy that is a straight power hitter. Like, shout out to Ellie for having 18 home runs. But, like, he's kind of cooled off a bit. And I'm hoping that he just reignites when it's the most important. Because right now, luckily, we're not needing him to be Superman, even though that he did have that, 4-for-4 night the other night. But, you know, we're not needing him to hit, you know, home runs at this point in the season, which is great. So, I don't know. Suarez seems to me, obviously, the marriage that we'd love to get back together, getting back with our ex and whatnot, reconciling. But at the same time, I'm not exactly sure. Like, the guys that I've been seeing thrown around, Taylor Ward, players like that, like that wouldn't be bad to, like, to add to our outfield. Our outfield is not necessarily, you know, sparkling. Benson somehow is, you know, just on the bench for about 8 straight games. I feel like it's just like we need to add something. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to get the top line talent, but we can't be sitting on our hands. There has to be something, and it has to be something. It's not going to make the whole fan base happy, but it has to be something to make this offense just a little bit better.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple things in the chat here.
Oh gosh,
Reese Hines. I love Reese Hines, but I don't know. I wish he would get a fair chance, like a legit chance, against right-handed pitching on the Reds. Just because I know how good he is against righties. They always seem to put him in against lefties, and it just doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, I guess let me toss this out. If you do send, let's just say, decent prospects to Arizona, maybe you get another prospect back or a reliever also. Maybe it's not just straight up just for Suarez. It could be for somebody else. And then as far as Edwin Arroyo goes, I just don't. If he comes up next year, like, where's he going to play? Because Sal Stewart's probably going to be your third baseman, and potentially Suarez if he extends. And then you'll have McLean at second, Elliott short, most likely Steer at first. DH, I guess, could be wide open, but I don't think Arroyo would be a DH because he's so good defensively. But then, like, you're not putting him in over Ellie De La Cruz. Like, it's just not happening. And then Marte seems to be willing to transition to the outfield, so he could be a center fielder or a corner outfielder. Friedel is going to be your center fielder, and then you're going to have probably Gavin Lux and Will Benson as your other outfielders. So I just don't see where Arroyo gets like a fair shake. And with the guys behind him almost equally in the farm system, like Tyson Lewis is coming up quick. Like, Tyson Lewis may be the number one prospect on the team next year. That's how good he is. And Sammy Stafora, I mean, they're on the same team right now, Stafora and Tyson Lewis. And then we just drafted Steele Hall. He's going to be in the ACL next year. Could be, he could be in the fall league potentially, but most likely starting the season next year. I don't know where Arroyo fits into the future, unfortunately. I mean, you want him, but then, like, if you could trade him and you still have really good infielders depth-wise in the minor leagues, and you can add a guy like Suarez, I think you do it. I don't know. Chase Petty, I mean, I really don't want to give up on him just because I think we do need the pitching depth. Because you look at how Lodolo's actually been playing a full season.
yeah, it's crazy.
I kind of would like to sell on him high right now, and then maybe you slide Chase Petty in as like a opener kind of guy. Maybe just don't use him as a starter. You just use him as an opener. But I don't know. Like, if you have Lodolo now and you keep him, and then the next start after the trade deadline he gets a blister, or he gets his hurts his shoulder or something, it's like you missed out, and you're probably never going to get this high on Lodolo again, just because I think next year is his last year, a full year of team control. So I don't know. I feel like you need to move on from those pieces. I think Brady Singer sticks around. I think Nick Martinez probably goes, but then, like, we need relievers, and we probably need a starter. And the only real decent starter we have in the minors right now is Brian Van Bell.
Yeah. I've been throwing this guy out because obviously my dad's a White Sox fan still, and Adrian Howler's been killing it, man. And he's only in like a $1 million contract. Like, I don't know why that's not being talked about, which I think is perfect for the Reds because they're not going to go for a big line, top line of the, I don't even know who's like the biggest trade target for starting pitching at this moment, but there's not. It's been more about the hitters, I would say, at this point, and relievers like Chapman and whatnot. But it's kind of interesting to see like how we've been going kind of back and forth. They need both because we've been talking about how they've been needing a huge bat since the start of spring training, right? Hayes has done an adequate job, not necessarily playing every day, so unfortunately he's not fulfilling the role of being that big bat in the outfield. But I don't know, like then the pitching staff has kind of faltered because we've been missing, our ace and Hunter Green for so long, and thankfully he's getting into the rehab aspect of his. Same thing with Rhett Lauder finally, but I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know what kind of factor both of them, especially Hunter, is going to have down the stretch. Hopefully, it's positive impact and not necessarily, getting hurt again or having some sort of lingering thing again. That's kind of plagued him the last. It feels like 2 months. So we're definitely gonna have to need a bat and a starter and a reliever. Like I don't know. I like to think that Luis May can provide a little bit of that, reliever aspect. Since shout out to Scott Barlow for having his first kid. He finally gets a rest.
In one day.
Well, that's more than he usually gets.
He's like, screw them kids. I'm going back. I'm going back to work.
He's got that Ellie De La Cruz mentality. He's got to get back to his job. But anyway, it's just it feels like they need a lot. And I guess my mentality is that I need the Reds to like somehow surprise me, because my default position now is going to be they're going to pretty much wait it out, or they're going to not be aggressive enough, but also balance the fact that they're going to try to keep the guys they want, right? Because I'm sure everyone's wanting their top line prospects, no doubt about it. Like, even like a Hector Rodriguez possibly is probably being asked from front offices, that they're talking to. So it's kind of difficult to, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to judge the Reds at this point in terms of, like, I don't know, like, are they going to be aggressive? What is the definition of aggressive? Because we have a lot of good guys in our system. We have a team that's right there at a playoff spot. Like, it's the whole adage, you don't want to mortgage the future for the immediate present. But hey, we got to do something. It can't just be always going to be holding on to these prospects, because you never know, in 2 or 3 years, like you said, Edwin Arroyo, he might not even have a spot in this team because Ellie's still going to be here, and there's going to be other guys like Marte and whatnot. They're going to be playing possibly, or whomever, like in McLean or whatever. It's going to be difficult to even just have a ability to even use these prospects. So you might as well, like a lot of guys are talking about in the chat, might as well use this time to like offload Arroyo. Unfortunately, he'd be the odd man out because he's kind of the forgotten guy, the guy that's not really thought of as highly as Tyson
kind of
Lewis and whatnot.
stuck in no man's land, and it's sad because he's a really good talent, switch hitter, really good defensively. He was the number 2 prospect in the Mariners system when we traded for him, and because people don't want to admit it, but I still think that we fleeced Seattle in that trade. Noelvi Marte has unlimited potential. He's shown to be a good teammate. Honestly, going out there, going, hey, I'll play right field, I'll play center field. Don't worry about it. And I don't know, like, I like Edwin Arroyo a lot, and I don't want it to make it sound like I don't like him, but I just don't see where he fits in future-wise, because by the time he comes up in, let's just say, a year and a half, so maybe the beginning of the season, 2027,
yeah,
Tyson Lewis could be knocking on the door. Sammy Stafora could be knocking on the door, and we may be a really good baseball team at that time. And I just don't know. I saw in the chat they were talking about not trusting Luis May yet, and someone said just give up Connor Phillips. Connor Phillips had a good outing today. 1 inning, a walk, and 2 strikeouts, no runs allowed. I have faith in him. I think he has like a Graham Ashcraft kind of vibe to him. I think Phillips could figure it out as a reliever. And if May can get control and, put the ball in the strike zone, and if Maxwell can stop walking guys too, that back of the bullpen, next year, you're looking at like Tony Santillan, Connor Phillips, Graham Ashcraft, and then Maxwell and May. Like that's like 4 flamethrowers, because Connor Phillips is touching 101 in the out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I think that Connor Phillips could be an addition in the right circumstances. Obviously, low pressure situations, kind of like a Lyon Richardson kind of guy. But yeah, I think that we need to be aggressive for sure. There needs to be moves made. We need to add bullpen guys, but there are guys in this system too that when they do figure it out can be really good relievers also.
Oh, for sure, and yeah, the Arroyo thing is we're just trying to find a spot for him, and it seems like Carrick thinks that he's going to be a AAA guy next year. But then, like you had said, the 2027 season it will be interesting where he fits in. So we're not trying to we're not trying to say he's terrible. We're not trying to say that he's useless at any stretch of the imagination. But he might be our best trade piece because he's the odd man out, surplus to parts, so to speak. Because it seems like, I mean, at least from what we've seen, Tyson Lewis and Sammy Stafura are definitely the future after Ellie De La Cruz. And unless they see something in their scouting reports about those two that would make it easier to deal one of those two, I don't know. It's a good question. Or maybe there's a position change for either one of them down the road to make Arroyo kind of the shortstop of the future or infielder of the future. But I don't know. It's getting crowded. It was crowded last year or 2 years ago as well, right? With all the guys with India and McLean and Ellie staying at shortstop. So what I guess I'm trying to say is we need outfielders. Hector Rodriguez is not ready yet. He's obviously the future, so we got to try to protect him. I know some of the guys are talking about like hands off of him for sure. I would say the same thing. Him and Sal Stewart, should be guys that we're thinking that they're going to be 2026 or 2027 guys and maybe starters, full-time starters. Same with Cam Collier, throw him in there as well. But he's been coming off injury, so he's starting to get a little bit back on track at Chattanooga, which is great to see, especially because he's missed so much time with, what was that thumb injury or something? It was really, really weird because
Yeah, he had like a torn ligament in his thumb.
Yeah.
He had
So
surgery.
So hopefully he'll be back on track and on his way to contribute to this ball club sooner than later. But it's for sure like the outfield is everyone's been lamenting about like how we just don't have enough pop there, don't have enough consistency in pop for those guys. And God bless TJ Friedel because he's obviously got those weird splits and he always seems to come up with those odd 2-run home runs, 3-run home runs out of nowhere. But you know what I mean? It's just not consistent enough. And if Marte is the corner outfielder of the future, hopefully, but that's like a hopefully more than anything else, right? Because I don't even know. Has he played 162 major league games yet? Like I feel like he's had
I don't think so.
He had a part of 23. He played like half of 24 because of what. And then this year, I don't think he's played half a season here. So he's basically kind of like I don't even know he has like one full year of 162 yet. So I mean, he's still got a lot of growing to do because we've talked about how he kind of got rushed through the system and whatnot.
138 games.
He hasn't played 162 games yet. So I would say we should maybe hold out exactly what we think Marte is at this point. Is that going to be like, do we have to figure out what Marte is, and then basically suffer the potential of losing games in the process? No, I don't think so. Like we should be putting out the guys that are going to help us win, even if that means putting Espinal at first or Lux in the outfield. Like it's just about winning ball games at this point. It doesn't matter what it looks like or how it's done. It's about getting to that postseason because we're right there. And I just hope the front office knows that something needs to be done, and they're not just going to kind of what was it? Brad Meter said it. This time last week we were quoting Brad Meter about how like we want to do both. We want to be aggressive and also protect the future. So,
I think that speaks to like trading Christian Encarnacion Strand and 2 prospects for Suarez. I don't think they're gonna go 3 prospects for him. I think there's gonna have to be a major league player with control that goes for him, and I think that Arizona might prefer that. And maybe they don't give up Arroyo. Maybe it's Chase Petty and Carlos Jorge. Maybe it's something like that, or like a Luke Hayden, or I don't know, Adam Serwanowski. Somewhere along that line where it's like a relatively decent pitching prospect or 2 pitching prospects and CES, because they got 2 pitchers from Seattle for Naylor. So maybe they want more pitching. I don't know.
Yeah. And then also there's the aspect of the Reds selling. We talked about how we probably going to see them sell and buy at this deadline. Or I don't know. I guess there's the third option where they keep Nick Martinez as well. But I figure he's probably the most likely to be dealt at the deadline. They're not in a situation where he's, after this year, there's no qualifying offer like you talked about pre-show. We were talking about he's basically got to get extended, or they got to try to get something for him, or get nothing for him and ride it out and say thank you, Nick, for getting us to the playoffs, hopefully. Or at least thank you for your service of what? It's 2 years, right? He's been with them. So, or 2024, 25. Yeah, 2 years. So, like, shout out to him for still getting the job done, even though that I think everybody is kind of like figuring he's the guy that's possibly going to get dealt out of all of our. I mean, we were talking about Singer earlier, but the team control aspect, I think the Reds love that. He'll have to just go to arbitration and I don't know. He's on $8 million right now. He might get like a $10 million, $12 million contract next year for Mr. Singer. Lodolo, I don't think it's time for him yet. Like you said, there's too much team control. There's too much potential there still, right? Like even if he is a bit injury prone, he's shown this year he can work through that. Unfortunately, Hunter, we thought kind of broke through that last year where he played nearly a full season healthy. But unfortunately this year, the injuries crept up again. So I don't think Lodolo's time is done yet, unless there's some real major haul that they can get for him. But I don't think any teams will be, knocking down our door to get Lodolo at this point in time. I think they'd rather get a rental like Martinez, like a Dodgers or, Mets or Yankees or whatnot, just to take him off the books for the Reds and basically just have a guy they can have as a starter for the remainder part of the season. But it'll be interesting, I guess. That's why I say it's a big week. It's an interesting week. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I'm going to be holding my breath, hoping to be surprised that the Reds are going to be not the Reds.
Yeah, and you want to know who I'm glad we didn't give up on?
Who's that?
This guy right here, Andrew Abbott.
Yeah, there's our guy. All-star Andrew Abbott.
Because there was talks all off season about moving on from Andrew Abbott. And then to begin the season, where does he fit in with the rotation? He's never healthy. He, sucks at the end of the year, which we're not that point yet. We don't know. But, I mean, who would have said he'd be pitching the way he's been pitching this year and would have made the All-Star team? So, what do you think about Andrew Abbott with how he's been this year and with his outing the other day?
I don't think the Reds are in the position they are with Hunter being hurt if he isn't pitching like this. If he's having kind of one of his uneven seasons, you know what I mean? Like, I guess there's still a lot of baseball to be played, and he's notorious for kind of falling off after the All-Star break, but he hasn't yet. So, like, let's just keep riding this Andrew Abbott train all the way to the playoffs, I say, because, I mean, he's been awesome. Like, just easily said, like, he's been the guy that you turn to every 5 days, and you're going to get a quality start, might get something more. Like, he's been, like, quietly, dominant, just going through the lineups, and I can't say enough good things about Andrew Abbott. He's unfortunately not going to be the starter for the Speedway game, being a Southerner, being from Virginia. I think probably having a lot of family that would probably travel over there to Tennessee to see him pitch. It's unfortunate. I think it's supposed to be Chase Burns, sorry. That's in line to pitch that Speedway game on Saturday, and we'll talk about that.
Tennessee volunteer.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, he finished his season or his career at Wake Forest, so there's a little.
Yeah, he did pitch at Tennessee, so maybe it's a little bit of a homecoming for him too.
Yeah, for sure. But also shout out to Fred Andrew Abbott. Yeah, he's definitely the guy that you're right. I guess we shouldn't talk about Arroyo in the way that he's the odd man out, because that was kind of Andrew Abbott's role in this pitching staff. He was kind of the odd man out. Like, hey, Lodolo's a future ace, Hunter's an ace. You know what I mean? Singer we just traded for. Andrew Abbott, if we trade him, so long. But I guess we should learn our own lesson here and say, maybe this is the guy that we have to depend, or that could be the guy. You know what I mean? He's just not just a guy. He's the guy. And he's showing it this season. And, hopefully he can keep it going. He's got one of the starts against the Braves, right? Like, I don't think he's in the the Dodgers series. No, yeah, he is pitching against the Dodgers, right? So he's going to go up and get some good competition this week and hopefully get us a series win against those hated Dodgers.
Yeah, Abbott. I always said if he could figure it out, he reminds me a lot of Cliff Lee. Back in the day. He's got a higher velocity fastball. He throws up to 95. I think Cliff Lee touched like 90, 91.
Yeah,
But I was listening to the broadcast. I think it was yesterday, and they were mentioning about how Abbott has his end of the year tail offs and he kind of just spirals out. And they ask him, like, is your arm okay? Like, do you feel okay? He's like, yeah, arm feels fine, shoulder feels fine. And he said after the season, going into spring training, you guys were asking the wrong questions. You guys, like, my legs were dead. He's like, I had no legs at the end of the season. And he said that was his point of emphasis this off season, going into this season, was to get leg strength. And if that's all it took, I mean, good Lord, man, it just took him doing, not skipping leg day to become an all-star. So, I mean, if he can continue that, I mean, he could be well on his way to being, what we hope he could be. And that is on a championship winning team, like headlining that rotation with Hunter Green and Chase Burns and Rhett Lauder, hope maybe in the future. And man, I'm happy just because he deserves it, for one, and then two, like, you're just seeing that his work ethic, he's really putting in the work and it's paying off.
Yeah, for sure. I think what Fred is saying is that he's been doing a little less 12-inch curls with the arms, and maybe he's doing like 12-inch curls with the legs now. Maybe that's what he's working on, getting his leg work in, doing it that way. But yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, isn't the whole like adage from Nolan Ryan that like pitching power comes from your legs? So maybe he just did a lot more, maybe specializing, working on that stuff. He threw out the comment that every spring training, guy that shows up says he's the best shape of his life. Hey, we finally found an example of that actually being the case, and that actually, like, basically translating to the great results on the back end, which is awesome. So, like, Andrew Abbott, keep working out, man. I mean, I guess that's the key in the off season, just getting those legs workouts in. But the other thing I was thinking about with Andrew Abbott is that he's just, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't feel like the game is getting too big for him. Like, he's getting into some situations where, I don't know. I kind of feel this kind of same way about Brady Singer too, right? Like, it's not like he's getting overwhelmed with the moment. Brady Singer's been there, done that. Even though that he'll have his bad moments, he'll still try to pitch through things. I feel like Abbott has kind of learned that. Like, it's the learning to pitch, learning to just, even if you get yourself into trouble, you can rely on your stuff or rely on, the pitch sequence to get through that inning. There hasn't been like a big blow up, for Abbott, because I feel like you're talking about, the tail off is when he would maybe get the pitch count up really high, and he'll have a situation where he just can't get out of an inning, and he ends up going only like 3 1/3 or 4 innings, right? Like that was like his MO. Obviously, in the David Bell era, maybe this is kind of also, another way, a roundabout way of praising Tito, is that maybe he's instilled some more confidence into Abbott by going all 9 innings against the Cleveland Guardians, when everybody said he probably should have came out after the 8th inning or even the 7th inning, before he got that double play in the 8th, right? So maybe that's what we're also kind of looking at in Abbott's development, is that confidence to push through the tough stuff and not just get pulled, like in the 4th inning because, David Bell says, the computer says, hey, Andrew, you don't have your stuff today, time to sit down. That's my thinking. Just it feels like he's done that with a couple guys, and Abbott might be one of them.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that Cleveland game, I think David Bell takes him out in the 6th or 7th. I don't think he gets out of the 7th in that game, and Lodolo definitely doesn't get that complete game the other day either. Abbott, just phenomenal guy. Fred brings us up in the chat. He did say that, and he was mic'd up at first base. They asked him about Abbott because he's extremely deceptive. Like, his arm slot's the same for every pitch, and I think he added a cutter
Hmm.
this offseason, and that's deceptive as well because his fastball's, deceptive. It's not fast, but when you're throwing a curveball that breaks, 18 inches and a changeup that's 10 miles per hour slower than your fastball, like 95, 93, looks like 100 after those kind of pitches. So, yeah, Andrew Abbott, just, I can't say enough.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And unfortunately, he's not going to be the starter on Saturday. It's going to be Chase Burns, confirmed by Sir Boy, reporter in the field there. Thank you for that, for confirming that. But it is going to be a big week. Dodgers, the Braves, but on Saturday, the spectacle outside of the Midsummer Classic, outside of the normal Saturday night baseball for MLB Network or MLB on Fox, we got the Speedway Classic game, the game that has been billed and advertised, and they've been adding more concert series and whatnot. It's going to be, I think, more of a concert than it's going to be more of a game. It feels like with all the different acts they got bringing out there. But there is going to be a baseball game being played. They put out all the pictures and whatnot, showing off what it's going to actually look like for real, as opposed to the AI generated images. And it looks pretty sweet. As far as I can tell, it looks huge. I guess I didn't really realize how steep those grandstands go up, and my goodness, that's going to be interesting to see what the view is from certain parts of that outfield, or I don't even know what we call that, the grandstands behind the outfield. But hey, it's a chance to show off our guy Ellie De La Cruz. Maybe he'll have some sort of silly promo where he races some cars around the track or something, just to put on some commercials before the game, because obviously he's our most marketable player, even though some people think that's a bad thing, or at least an annoying thing, because he's 23 years old and the face of the franchise, face of MLB now, and somehow the Braves stink. What happened here? I thought we were supposed to be the team coming into this game, kind of just as okay, this is our highlight of our season. Seemed like it's going to be the highlight of the Brave season. So shout out to them, I guess. But
yeah, they lost 8-1 today.
So yeah, this is kind of the weird, I guess different timelines we're living on, because the Reds could be 9 games above 500 at this point going into this game, or something like that, and be basically right there, right in the thick of it, or a playoff spot going into a national showcase on Fox. I mean, there's nothing better than that. What are your thoughts, Rick?
Yeah, a little bit about the Braves. They've lost 8 out of their last 10. They got swept by Texas. They got 2 out of 3. Yeah, they got swept by 2 out of 3 by the Giants too, and then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees, and then they lost to the Cardinals. They won the Cardinals series, funny enough, but yeah, I mean, this series, I mean, it's kind of all eyes on Cincinnati and all eyes on Atlanta, and 2 of the best players in the game, going at it with Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ellie De La Cruz. And then not to mention, we get to show off our young stud who could be, one of the best pitchers in baseball if he can get it going, and Chase Burns. It's exciting. That Coliseum's huge. I mean, I think it sits 190,000 people on a normal race, and to add grandstands into the midfield of it too with the baseball stadium, it's huge, and it's going to be it's been marketed like crazy, and Ellie's fast, so it kind of makes sense to have him play at a racetrack. So yeah, it's exciting. I think it's cool that they picked 2 teams like Cincinnati and Atlanta, and not the Mets and the Dodgers and the Giants and the Red Sox or something. They picked 2 kind of Midwestern teams. Atlanta's in the South, but they're kind of the Midwest of the South, I guess. But yeah, it's a cool marketing ploy, and then having Ellie in the cars, and kind of brought back Joey Votto and the bus vibes. So
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, for sure. And the jerseys, all that, I mean, I'm sure they're going to sell a lot with the checkered flag on top of the hat, the different decals and the jerseys and whatnot. My question is, like, what about the guys that get dealt right before this game? Are they gonna like be able to keep their jersey? Because they're pretty sweet. I'd be upset if I'm Nick Martinez and I have to like give back this nice jersey that I can't play on this game or whatnot. But yeah, well, then there's that aspect too of like, are the Reds gonna sit pat? Well, this is just a random thought. If the Reds are just gonna stand pat because they don't want to upset any guys that are like, oh hey, I'd like to play in this game, and I'll do whatever you want. But anyway, that's just. But neither here.
You know something else about that too. The trade deadline's on Thursday. We're off on Friday, so that would be a lot of guys' debut if they get dealt on the trade deadline.
They do have a getaway game on Friday. They reworked their schedule. Instead of playing on Sunday, the Reds are playing at 12:40 on Friday, which is weird. I don't know why. Except
I thought they played on Thursday. I think it was Thursday, and they're off on Friday.
No, Thursday is 7:10 against Atlanta, 12:40. Because the only reason why I know is because I work downtown, and they warned us, hey, Friday, if you're coming in the office, you might need to find different parking because it's a 12:40 game. It's really weird.
That's right. Yeah, 12:40. Yeah, you're right.
And they're off on Sunday, so it's kind of like the only time that probably, unless there's like something going on, like that baseball wasn't played by a couple teams on a Sunday, because usually they play series enders on Sundays. But anyway, that was the point I'm trying to say is like it's gonna. I think you're kind of alluding to what Nick Kirby said. Like those guys are gonna make their debut because they probably won't have enough time to get all situated for that 12:40 game, so they'd have to debut on Fox at 7:00 across the nation to everybody. So. Heck, you know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening at the trade deadline and whatnot. But the Reds are going to be on display like they were in 2022. Hopefully, it'll be a better time out, better, more fun. Time or more fun to be had by everybody. It sounds like from Carrick here that where is it? They picked it because of the territories. But he was talking about earlier. Oh, be prepared to walk if you are going to the game. I know Sir Boy's going to the game. I know he's a NASCAR guy, so he's probably familiar with these type of coliseums where it's probably a lot of walking distance just to get to your seat, or just to get to the stadium. Probably the parking situation is going to be bananas, crazy. You know what I mean? Speaking of bananas, hopefully it is like a Savannah Bananas experience with hundreds of thousands of people, kind of like the Savannah Bananas like would sell out Clemson or wherever they went to have like one of their games on a college football campus. Like hopefully that's the environment, because that would be awesome if they do that. And yeah, 160,000 is the capacity. Whew, that's a lot of baseball fans. So hopefully, hopefully we're getting into some good vibes for everybody.
That's basically Great American Ballpark and Truist Park combined.
I think you need a couple
maybe
more.
Yeah, maybe more.
Because I think it's only 43 for Great American, and that's standing room only, right? But anyway,
so you're looking at like three major league stadiums.
At least, and that's kind of crazy to think about that they're going to have that type of game. I don't know. Maybe it's this is unfair of me, but I wanted this to kind of be like a series. I know we lamented on it on previous shows that like the Field of Dreams game should be a series, not just a one-off. Because like cool, but like you know what I mean. Like then Andrew Abbott could possibly pitch at Bristol if they play 3 games, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Or, whoever, a bunch of probably other guys that are probably from Tennessee area. Like you get a shout out to Chase Burns, one-time volunteer. But I don't know. I guess that might be logistically a little bit crazy, especially if you're filling a stadium of 160,000 potentially people. Probably a little less for the Field of Dreams. What was that, like 2,000 people get to watch that?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
So, I don't know. That's just me. It's just baseball, They do a good thing. And then they get rid of it, and they're like, "Wow, you like that? What do you mean you like that?" I don't know. It's just we can get into a rant about how baseball sometimes is just not sometimes. They're terrible at marketing, especially these type of situations. But any other thoughts about this upcoming Speedway game?
No, but it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, hopefully a win. Like, come on, like the game still counts, right? Like, this is not an exhibition. This is not, spring training or, I guess that Tokyo series kind of felt like an exhibition way back in March before the actual opening day with the Cubs and the Dodgers, right? That felt very exhibition-like, even though those games count. This game counts too. So Hopefully, yeah, it's fun had by all except for Braves fans.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, then we'll move on to our really popular segment. A lot of people like this segment a lot. It's a very nuanced topic where we go through basically our guy who is unfortunately a Boris client, but we still love him even though he's a Boris client. And it's our segment is Ellie De La Cruz. Is he good, Ricky?
Yes.
I think he's good. He's not hitting homers, but that doesn't matter. You hit him where they ain't. Sometimes that's a little bloop out into right center. He's good. Fred says he's good. So I think segment over. Any other thoughts about Ellie before we move on?
He's good.
Yeah, no more people talking about how much he strikes out anymore. Isn't that weird? Where'd that go? I don't remember.
It's gone. I remember the broadcast said he's cut it down by 20, 15%. Like he's down in the low 20s, high teens now in strikeout percentage.
Ricky, you're meaning to tell me a 23-year-old, 2-year full-time professional baseball player can learn to play baseball still?
Well, if you ask these analytical people, they just say, "Here, this is their numbers. This is what they do. They're just robots. They can't get any better."
Yeah, well, I mean, the Reds are also supposed to only win 77 games this year, so there's always that. We'll see how that goes. I guess they still could. Let's not jinx the Reds into some sort of weird losing streak. But, hey, I don't know. I guess, 23-year-old learning to the strike zone, maybe he's not getting hosed as much. Because I think that's always a narrative, too, that gets thrown out there because he's 6'6". So his strike zone is like Judge level, where it's just massive from the letters to the knees. So he kind of gets a little of those right on the edge calls that no one else would get because his strike zone's massive. So shout out to Ellie. I mean, what was it? Just a couple weeks ago, he was walked 4 times in a game. I guess he's good.
He's good.
All right, moving on. We're gonna move on to our next segment, Red Hot Red of the Week, which I think we got a lot of candidates because it was kind of a really weird week. It wasn't captured by any one particular guy in particular, I would say. There wasn't a Will Benson Cleveland Guardians series or a CES versus the Diamondback series where it was clearly this is the guy that got the job done this week. I don't know. There's a couple of guys I've been thinking of since we talked about it. Who's your Red Hot Red of the Week?
I'm gonna go. We talked about it pre-show, but I'm gonna go somewhere different. I'm gonna go with Noel Marte.
Okay.
His last 7 games, batting .333, 385 on base, .417 slug. No home runs, but he is showing that he can play. He's versatile. He's showing he can play in the outfield. He took fly balls in center field yesterday pregame. I think maybe they're doing this. Either A, they're doing it to see if he is capable of being an outfielder, or B, they're making him kind of ignore the yips and maybe just let the ball fly. And then him doing that in the outfield can make him in turn do that in the infield. But we saw the off the line throw yesterday. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Noel Marte. He's been a pleasant surprise this year. We all know what happened last year between preseason and during the season. It was just an atrocious year all the way around. So big rebound. He's my Red Hot Red of the Week.
Yeah, I kind of want to address. Fred had a question about it. Do you think it matters with? I think he's talking about the strikeouts, or at least maybe just his approach. If it matters if he's third versus first or second batting in the order. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if he is the leadoff hitter, which I feel like they did it maybe a couple times, not a lot. He was at the two-hole hitter a lot in the David Bell era, unfortunately.
He batted 6th a lot too.
Yeah. So I feel like at the leadoff hitter, his eye, he doesn't have that quote unquote, great eye to be able to see pitches and allow a table set for guys behind him to see what the starter basically has and whatnot. So being the 2-hitter, I don't think it's much difference. We've been kind of talking about hey, he should be the 2-hitter because then he can see how Friedel is seeing the pitches come in and he can adjust possibly right before he goes up there. And, obviously that would also get him more at bats as well, being in that 2-hole as opposed to the 3rd hole, the number 3 hitter. So I don't know if it really matters if he goes down to 2, But definitely, if he's the leadoff hitter, I don't know if he's really. He's probably striking out maybe a little bit more, I would say. But that's just me.
I think Tito sees him as like a Jose Ramirez, and he plays better when he's batting third also.
Yeah.
And just being consistent, same spot every day. You know where you're at. And I mean, honestly, you can make the argument you want Ellie batting cleanup. He's batting 500 with the bases loaded this year, with the grand slam. So I mean, you can make the argument you want him batting cleanup. But his speed is what you see when you go, oh, I want him batting leadoff, or I want him batting second. But when the power shows up, would you rather have Ellie hit a solo home run or a 3-run homer? You know, it's like I kind of would like to see the 3-run homer or potentially grand slam if he's batting cleanup. But yeah, it's funny. In the new intro where I have the Ellie being introduced by Big Joe Z, the Reds play
PA announcer.
PA,
whatever I think announcer is redundant then. Public address.
I had to edit it because in the clip it's batting sixth, your shortstop, Ellie De La Cruz. It was from April of last year. But yeah, I think the way he hits, you could go, okay, 2-hitter, you know. He's the Reds' best hitter. But TJ Friedel's really good at getting on base. Gavin Lux is good at getting on base. You might not want to hear it, but Santiago Espinal is pretty good at getting on base. Yeah, he grounds into double plays a lot. But, you know, I think that's the argument for him getting into 2-hole was getting 2 guys that can get on base ahead of Ellie. But I don't know, like my dream scenario, I don't want to say dream scenario, but I guess my outlook would be TJ Friedel leading off. And then I guess if Matt McLean can figure it out, Matt McLean batting 2, and then Ellie batting 3rd. And then we have Hayes cleaning up. I don't like Lux batting 5th. I'd probably put Steer there. But then you're putting 2 righties back to back, I guess. And then I'd probably go Will Benson, and I'd probably put Lux at like the 9, just because I think Lux could be that, you know, second leadoff guy. But yeah, that's kind of my scenario. I guess we can get back on track. Who's your red hot Red player of the week?
Yeah, I had a couple, and I might steal some from the chat because they've been making some good points about some guys. The guys I was thinking of was like the rotation, starting with Lodolo on that getaway game on Wednesday, to the starters that pitched well this weekend against the Rays, them being Martinez, our boy Andrew Abbott, and then what was today? Today was
Brady Singer.
So like those 4 starts, those are great. Like holding the Rays to only 5 runs, and I guess if you include the Lodolo start, 5 runs in 5 games, that's pretty good.
Austin Hayes defensively yesterday in the 9th inning.
Shout out to him. It'd be an additional one. But the one I wanted to steal was Emilio Pagan, because I think he's a little bit underrated. A guy that we were coming into the season going like, yeah, he's had saves in the past, so like I guess he could be the closer, but everyone was kind of thinking along the lines of like, you know, gosh, I don't even remember way back when, but it was definitely not Ian Jabot. He was not definitely the closer of the future. But, you know, maybe, you know, Luis May, Zach Maxwell impressed as potential future closers. I know your guy that you're really big on, Ashcraft, was a guy that, you know, could potentially be a closer. But, like, Emilio Pagan, like, also the emotional leader of the ball club, every time he's interviewed, he's, like, always fired up about something. Like, I don't know what. Maybe it's just because it's just the fiery nature of the closer. You just got to, like, you know, get out there and just put your heart on your sleeve. And, you know, I don't know. It's kind of funny just to hear that, some of his comments, because, you know, I don't know. You know, I'm mentioning David Bell for the 15th time, but, like, I feel like we never got that kind of passion, or maybe it's just, you know, a prisoner of the moment. But, like, it's definitely feels a lot more fiery this season than last season from the players of the ball club, or just, like, you know, guys that are sorry, Fred. I had to say it. Maybe we gotta, like, make a code word or something, like, you know, the other guy, you know, the
previous manager,
Buddy Bell's son. Maybe is that better? I don't know. Anyway, but, like, you know, Emilio Pagan, shout out to him, underrated, career high in strikes, or no, career high in saves this year, and been basically the most dependable. I can't think of other than maybe our guys Santillan and Barlow. Other than them, it's been Emilio Pagan.
Yeah, that's been our big three. And Pagan, I mean, he's cut his ERA in half. He was at 4.50 last year in 38 games, and then this year he's at 45 games into 2.64 ERA as a closer. I mean, ERA is kind of hard to judge for relievers anyway, just because you could have one bad outing and your ERA screwed for like 3 months. But if you look at like some of the more like I guess kind of advanced numbers, his WHIP's .88 this year. Last year he was a 1.34. In 2023 he was an 0.95, but he's been hovering around 130, 117 the most of his career. This has been a career year for him. He's getting a lot of ground balls too. So yeah, Pagan, that's a good pick. I like that. I just, you're right. He's kind of like the unsung hero in the bullpen. He just goes out there and shoves and gets it done.
Yeah, shout out to the guys in the chat. I kind of stole it from them. I'm not going to take full credit because I guess maybe that's kind of a part of that argument is like you kind of take him for granted. Like, oh yeah, he got the job. It's 2-1 game. Like we usually don't win 1-run games, right? We're usually on the other end of it for the most part. Even at the beginning of this year, we'd be on the other end of a 2-1 loss, right? But now maybe this is a situation where we're starting to finally get it all come together. Right, to have that triumphant playoff run and get to the promised land. Fingers crossed.
It is exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully that the front office doesn't take all the hype out of the balloon or hype out of the crowd and just really deflate us. But
yeah, I don't like I said, I don't want to sell the farm, but there's some guys you can move.
For sure. But we'll move on to our next segment, the Reds Facebook comment of the week. But I think we actually got this from X. From our guy on X, Reds Daily 4, Greg Kuffner. So shout out to him. He had a very heartfelt letter to a dear Mr. Nicholas Leroy Krall. You can go ahead, Rick.
Dear Nicholas Leroy Krall, the Reds are 56-50, just one game out of a playoff spot. This team has battled, grown, and earned the right to play meaningful baseball in August and beyond. As fans, we see how close this group is, the talent, and the potential to make that run. We understand the importance of protecting the future. We're not asking for reckless trades or selling the farm, but this group has shown they deserve reinforcements. Smart, aggressive additions could make the difference. The kind of moves that say, we believe in you. Cincinnati is hungry. The fans have been loyal, patient, and passionate. We've waited a long time to dream big again. Please go improve this squad. Sincerely, Reds fans.
I thought he was going to sign off as Greg. I guess he talks for all of us, I guess.
GK.
He's the fan representative of all of us. That's fine. I don't Reds Daily 4 sign off. I guess my also
the goat of Reds Twitter.
Yeah, right. I should be brand ambassador of the Reds, but then he'd be in the Castellini's pocket. So maybe that would. He can't really criticize the Reds then. Maybe it's not the best job. But anyway, my question is, do you think that gets to his desk?
Ooh, it should.
like
I'm going to DM this clip personally to Phil Castellini.
yeah, or anybody that you can find an email in the Reds org, just like boom, 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 boom.
Hey, I do have a little bit of a connection with the director of Reds media, so I might just send it to him tomorrow.
I hopefully he doesn't think we're joking, but I don't know. It's a good question if they actually do, if they just drown it out and kind of be like, it's just kooky fans trying to get our goat or make fun of us, or I don't know. I wonder if he meant it genuinely, or you think it was kind of a little bit of a joke.
I think he was serious.
I mean, he called him Nicholas Leroy.
He's like, hey, sir.
I don't know,
sir.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I hope it gets. I don't. That's a good question. Like they sit in their ivory towers looking down on us in the peasant sections of the ball club. I don't know if they actually watch, or read or do any of this, like social media stuff. Because, I mean, some of this stuff is not great, so they probably try to avoid that at least. But I don't know. And then Sir Boy points out actually he doesn't have a middle name, so that's why I thought it was a joke because I'm pretty sure his
He
middle
just
name.
made up a name. It felt real.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the point being is that this ball club, this city, is desperate, starving, as Greg pointed out. So let's hope.
Dire.
Yeah,
We're
let's hope.
dehydrated for Reds meaningful baseball.
And not to put more pressure on this whole season, but this is a year where the Dodgers are not the Dodgers. I mean, the Cubs and the stinking Brewers, unfortunately, are a big hurdle. But you get in the playoffs, maybe they end up facing each other, right? Or end up knocking each other out. Or basically, who knows? Like, I would hope that this – you just got to get in to win, right? Like,
yeah, it feels like – and I hate to bring up that year again, but it feels like 2023 where it could be like an Arizona and Texas kind of World Series.
Yeah, because we got the heavy favorites last year with the Yankees and Dodgers, right? And the Yankees and Dodgers don't seem like the Yankees and Dodgers, but that doesn't mean that they can't do it again. Right. It's just a matter of like you don't believe in them the same way, right? Maybe there's a little bit of World Series hangover. Maybe it's just like you said, some hungry teams, some desperate teams are going to be able to put a run together and get in, all the way to the World Series this year, and it could be the Reds. Who knows?
Yeah, that's how it's anything can happen.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we'll go now to our minor league wrap up where we're going to profile some guys. This time, we're not going to have any more ACL guys after this week because the Arizona Complex League ended their season. So, as you probably saw, if you're a Reds diehard like us with the minors, you saw that a bunch of guys got promoted, like our guy that we talked about before, Tyson Lewis. Who else was that? And that Alcantara,
Alfredo Alcantara, and Arnaldo Lantigua. There was also a catcher, Dane Leonard, I believe, but I think he's more of like a fill-in kind of guy, not like a main prospect guy.
No, because they promoted Ryan McChrystal to Dayton, so they made some space to be. Basically, he's going to be backup
catcher.
Dano. So, and Dano actually, unfortunately, I think had a little bit of an injury this week, so hopefully he'll get better. I mean, kid's only 19.
Our guy Carrick actually messaged me earlier today. Said that it was like just a cramp, so he's good to go.
So yeah, it's it's hot in
Dehydrated.
Daytona.
It was very hot.
It's July in Daytona.
Yeah.
Man, that's a heck of a place to play baseball. But anyway,
and they have no lights.
Oh, will they play day games like the Cubs in the old days?
Yeah,
dumb. Anyway, sorry, we'll take out Daytona's organization. I guess they're saving money at that point. Anyway, we'll get off the crapping on Daytona. The three guys that are 3 up. Our favorite guy outside of Sal Stewart at AAA is Mr. Hector Rodriguez. In 8 games with Louisville, he's batting .448. So that's hard to do that. In the light of like Sal Stewart is mashing, CES is mashing at AAA, and so is our guy Reese Hines. So that's crazy that this guy is. I mean, I feel like Louisville has to win all their games at that point, right? Like they can't lose if all those guys are hitting, right?
Yeah, I mean, they all hit yesterday and they lost. They lost 11-9.
All right, well there you go. I guess you got to pitch as well. Our guy that we've been talking about a lot today, Edwin Arroyo, had a pretty decent week, 8 for 20, with a triple RBI and 3 runs scored. He's been hitting pretty decently this month, over 300. So shout out to him. Luke Hayden had a bounce back start. We went 5 1/3 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. I was actually watching that game because I live so close to Dayton that they put the games on the CW, so I can pick up their games from time to time when they broadcast. So that was nice to watch that on Friday night to see Luke Hayden. And then shout out to our ACL guy Shingen Lin in his last. I think that was the last game for the ACL Reds. He went 4 innings, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. And over 30 innings at the ACL level, he had a 2.67 ERA. So shout out to Shingen Lin. Also shout out to Tyson Lewis as well because he got promoted. But in the 46 games he played there at ACL Reds, he hit .340 with 19 stolen bases and 19 extra base hits. So you can see why he was promoted.
And he's quickly climbed up the Reds prospect list, and I wouldn't be shocked if next year he's a top 100. and I wouldn't be shocked if he's. I'm assuming Chase Burns probably gets bumped off the list, like graduates.
Yeah.
So Rhett Lauder already fell to 3 just from not playing, and
Yeah.
Sal Stewart, if he gets promoted this year, which it's slim but could happen. Sal Stewart probably begins next year as the number 1, and then I wouldn't be shocked if Tyson Lewis is number 2.
Shout out to Carrick. He got his autographs from them on Friday, the ACL
Nice.
guys. So shout out to that. And also, these guys have. I mean, Arroyo has been have a pretty solid season. We want to point that out. Like, obviously, we're not trying to trade him because we don't think there's any value to him. In fact, we think there's a lot of value to him. We just want to try to get that major league ready talent to this ball club right away. And then same thing with Luke Hayden. Luke Hayden and Siranowski down there in Dayton have had kind of a rough July. So it was good to see that come back for Hayden, because we profiled him earlier in the year because he had a really hot start. So shout out to them. Any other thoughts on these guys or the ACL?
I was excited to see Tyson Lewis called up. Started his career in low A on it with a bang. Massive home run, double. He just looked great. And then Hector Rodriguez, I worry about him being a trade piece just because I think you could sell off on Friedel if you were selling prospects, and I think Hector could come up now and fill in. But obviously, he wouldn't be your leadoff guy. I think you would have to obviously work around the lineup. But Hector's such a good player. He chases a lot. That's kind of like his downfall. But his contact percentage is way up there. So even though he's chasing, he's hitting it. So it's kind of like that. What's that second baseman from the Athletics? That rookie that made the All-Star game. He's a high chase guy.
Jacob Wilson.
Jacob Wilson. He's a high chase guy, but he's also a high contact guy too. So he might be chasing, but he's hitting. So that's kind of like Hector, I guess. And then Edwin Arroyo, like we said, I'm not anti Edwin Arroyo by any means. Him putting up numbers is a good thing for all of us, whether or not he stays with the team and comes up and hits, or he has his numbers go up and he's a valuable trade piece. So either way, it's always a good thing to see guys like that performing. And then Luke Hayden struggling a little bit, him, like you said, and Serwanowski, but him having a bounce back start because Luke Hayden wasn't on the top 30 list in just begin the year, and he got added in later. He pitched that good to start the year that he moved up onto the list, and it's good to see that guys that you didn't really value high kind of becoming valuable too.
For sure. Yeah, Carrick's chiming in saying that he didn't see them trading Hector. If we ask also Clay Snowden, he doesn't think our outfield minor league depth is good at all. But hopefully it could change if maybe Clay Snowden check out a couple of Hector's games and maybe change his opinion. But he might be the only.
Like our outfield depth, when you look at the top 30, Hector's the first outfielder at 10. Second outfielder is number 12. It's Adolfo Sanchez, and he's in a Dominican Summer League. And then you go down. 16th is Ethan O'Donnell. And I don't know how you feel about Ethan O'Donnell. I don't think he's going to be like a spectacular player. I mean, he could be a good, serviceable player. I'm not trying to knock Ethan O'Donnell. And then 17, Arnaldo Antigua just got called up to low A. And then if you go past that, number 20, Carlos Jorge just got moved to the outfield this year, or late last year, early this year. And then if you go past Carlos Jorge, that's it. He's the last guy. There's no outfielders. I mean, I think next year there's some DSL guys and some ACL guys that I think get added. I think Pablo Nunez gets added to that list. Dominican League All-Star.
Yep.
I think the kid from Oregon, was he an outfielder?
Melville,
yeah. Was he an outfielder?
I think so.
He probably gets added to the top 30. So I don't know who gets bounced off of that. Probably like Peyton Stovall, Tyler Callahan, probably. Ricardo Cabrera's kind of fell down a little bit. He's at number 21, but he's third base, second base. So yeah, not a lot of outfield depth, and not a lot of outfield depth that's anywhere near ready.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of the system. But yeah, hopefully maybe we'll have Hector be the guy, and I don't know. That's why I'm more leaning toward trying to trade for some corner outfield pieces, even if they're maybe I don't know James Outman type of situation, where maybe got more control over his 6 years, but he's not necessarily been talked about a lot lately. So I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. So. Yeah, I think Carrick confirmed it, saying that the kid from Oregon, the outfielder, and probably will start in Dayton.
Nice.
So
to go up there and see him.
Yeah, I'm
got a lot of power.
No, I say I'm waiting till the Tyson Lewis, Sammy Stafora get to the Dayton level, and then we'll definitely have a big party there. Dano as well. That'd be great.
We'll do Red Hot Reds live from the center field grass, just
or straight behind home plate. Watch our big guy Dano work back there. So.
Oh man.
Well, all right, we'll get on to the 3 down, and these I tried to get a little cheeky with this one, but unfortunately Chase Petty did not have a great week. He got scratched earlier in the week due to illness, and then came back I think yesterday or 2 days ago, and only went 4 innings and 8 runs given up. So not necessarily a great one there. The other guy there is Ovis Portes, out from the Lucas Sim trade.
Yep.
Back last year from Boston, I want to say.
Yep.
He's had a rough July. He only went 3 innings his last start, 3 earned runs, 7.11 ERA in the month of July. So, unfortunately not necessarily the best for that. But Chattanooga played against the Columbus Clingstones, I think, this week, and beat the snot out of them, won 5 out of the 6 games. So, shout out to Chattanooga. We're necessarily not trying to put other teams on blast, but man, come on. I wish they won all 6 games. That would have been a heck of a story to see, especially because we got Sal and Hector promoted. You think that Chattanooga have maybe a little bit of a rough stretch, but I think our guy Luke Sycamore also had a pretty decent start this week. So
back-to-back starts.
Yeah, shout out to him getting off our 3 down profile. So. He's back and pitching.
Yeah, he went from 3 down 2 weeks ago to 3 up last week. Probably could have been on 3 up this week.
Yeah, but I wanted to show some love for Arroyo because Arroyo's having a pretty decent season. I think guys in the chat, I think Carrick might have been talking about how Arroyo's not a bum. We're not,
Yeah, we're not. There's no Edwin Arroyo slander. It's
no, absolutely not. No,
he's just kind of blocked.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess we're falling in love with Tyson Lewis and Sammy Stafura a little bit more. Maybe a little bit younger, a little bit, I don't know.
And then you go a little bit further. You go to the DSL. You got Lieber Taponte, and there's some guys.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And
that's kind of the problem with drafting all shortstops. You get kind of a fanfare for them. As like you, I like to follow the minor leagues a lot. I cover it on SI. It's a lot of fun, and you kind of get, you kind of fall in love with some of these guys. I know I kind of have a budding relationship with a couple of the DSL guys, and it's just kind of fun because they're 17, and them getting exposure is good for them too. And maybe, just maybe, you see one of them guys on the show if we can get somebody that can translate. Or if they can maybe speak some broken English, that'd be kind of cool. But I know Pablo Nunez is a guy that I think would be a fun guy to have on here, just because I think he seems like a fun personality, just following his Instagram posts and stuff. But yeah, I mean, having the Columbus Clingstones down there as a team for the 3 down, not even in our farm system. They
had a rough week.
We beat them so bad that we added them to our list.
Yeah, I just try to get a little cheeky with it. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, that's also why I really liked profiling or having these segments, or just talking about the ACL Reds. I know we made jokes about we should become the ACL Reds podcast. We might become the DSL pod. We could probably even do a winter Dominican League to do that coming up in a couple months time. But no, the thing I liked about doing this segment and just following minors in general is I'm a soccer guy, and the climb to get to the top of soccer is kind of very similar. A lot of guys coming from different areas, different walks of life, and there's a lot of hurdles. I think we talked about this a lot with Marte like all the things he's kind of had to overcome just to get to the majors, and then obviously have his setbacks with the PED and whatnot and struggles and everything. But like, that's just like the tip of the iceberg of what these guys go through, especially if we're going to go as far down as the Dominican Summer League. Like, a lot of those guys are just, they love just to say, I played for the Cincinnati Reds. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like the one thing. It's kind of the beauty of sports. Just the people that are trying all they can just to get to the top of their profession and have that pride, have that, be able to maybe make that generational wealth for their families and provide and whatnot. Like, that's the type of thing that I really like to kind of to look at. And they're humans too, right? Like, these guys also. You talk about those Dominican Summer League guys. Like, the Reds have that the high school academy that they make sure that these guys get their at least their or their GEDs or whatnot. So like, it's more than just developing baseball players. We want to try to develop guys that could be citizens in this country or in their country. So shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of speaking of Pablo Nunez, I think 8 hours ago he posted on his Instagram story. He tagged 6 players and put Vamos Arizona.
Wait, what? They're gonna play in the fall league?
Maybe they're moving some guys up to the fall league. Looks like we got pull it back up. We have Pablo Nunez, Hansel Jimenez, Jervin Murillo, Nabel Mariano, and God.
Are we breaking news on this show? Is that what we're doing?
I think we are. I think we could be.
Via Instagram?
Via Instagram from Pablo Nunez himself. Vamos Arizona. Maybe not this year. Maybe they're talking about moving up to Arizona next year.
But summer ACL league. Okay.
That's a fun group of players down there. Just following some of them. Like, Pablo Nunez is having an incredible year. Adolfo Sanchez had a huge year after his kind of slow start last year. He was also 17, in his first professional season. And and then another guy too to kind of keep an eye on. He's 17. He's in the DSL Rojos. Is Iker Radona. Yeah, he was the pitcher for the DSL All-Star game, and he is a lefty. I see a little bit of like a Lodolo with him. He's not as big yet. He's like 17 still, but he's got a good fastball and a good breaking ball. And I've seen some highlights of him on socials, and he looks really polished for 17.
It's not bad. And yeah, shout out to Carrick. He was talking about Balcazar. Balcazar is another guy that not too talked about, which may be a good thing. That maybe hopefully he won't be included in any trade packages, because it sounds like Carrick is a big fan of Leo Balcazar. So, and he's in Dayton at the moment, right? So
he just got moved up to Chattanooga.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he just did the approach. So shout out to him. Congrats on the promotion from Dayton to Chattanooga. So he was part of that team that kicked the snot out of the Klingstones, I'm guessing. So,
Yep.
So yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about these guys before we move on?
No.
All right. So moving on. This week is big, man. It's kind of I don't know. The Reds always kind of like play up to their competition, but they did also kind of struggle against the Braves earlier in the year when the Braves were not so great. I think they lose 3 out of 4 to the Braves back there in May or something like that. So like, I don't know. It's not necessarily like a trap series or like anything like that, but I think they'll rise to the competition against these stinking Dodgers with Shohei Ohtani going to be on the mound on Wednesday. But I don't know. Like I think I'm more concerned about the playing against the Braves and having kind of like, the big showcase game on Saturday. They still got 2 more games to win on Thursday and Friday before they get to, the MLB on Fox game of the week or whatnot. So I really hope they take care of business against the Dodgers. I don't even care if they win the first 2 games of the Braves series and lose on the national stage, so be it. But like 2 out of 3 is what I'd like to see out of this team. Keep winning those series, stacking wins, and getting, basically more and more games above 500. Let's not flirt with 500 anymore. What do you think about this week?
Yeah. Tomorrow it's Chase Burns against Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. And then on Tuesday, which I will be at that game Tuesday, it's Tyler Glasnow versus Nick Lodolo. And then I think you said Shohei Ohtani is slated to start on Wednesday. He will face Nick Martinez. And that means we're going to see Andrew Abbott on Friday, I believe.
I was just looking at this earlier.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday,
Okay.
we're going to see Andrew Abbott. Friday's TBD, but that kind of sounds like it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out, but yeah, it's a big week, especially the 3 Dodgers games before the deadline. If you win Monday, I think you probably see a trade Tuesday. Might not be the big trade, but I think you see a trade Tuesday. And then if you win Tuesday, I think Wednesday you see the big trade. I don't think they wait last minute. I think they try to if they're going after Suarez, I think they try to be first. And they said I think it was Ken Rosenthal said the Reds sources are telling him that they plan to be super aggressive. So hopefully aggressive means not trading away the farm either, and just maybe major league for major league talent. I mean, honestly, would you be surprised if Spencer Steer was included in a trade if it was for a decent major league player?
Well, like a Yandy Diaz type you're talking about? Like
Rays? Like someone who's got control, or I don't know.
Good question.
I just, to me, like I like Steer a lot. I just don't know long term. He's one of those older, controllable players, kind of like a Friedel. Friedel's got 3 more years, and he's 29. I think Steer's 26 or 27. So yeah, and he's got 3 more years of team control. His first full season of control. Actually, I think he's 2029. I think because his first full season was in 2023. He got called up as a September call up in 2022. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah. I don't wish for it, but I wouldn't be shocked if you see Steer or Friedel included in a trade.
Yeah, I guess I'd be more shocked because I feel like they feel that Steer and Friedel are part of this kind of 2023 core, so to speak. So I'd be a little bit shocked, but not really. Those are guys, like you said, are on the older side of their, control years. So like it wouldn't shock me because it's appealing to have those kind of established veterans. Like I think of Steer more as a veteran more than like I would like McClain or Ellie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just based on the fact he's played 4 years of like college ball and stuff like that. But like it wouldn't completely surprise me. It'd be kind of a kick to the gut a bit, depending on what they get back. Yeah. So that's all kind of like I'm waiting for this front office to pleasantly surprise me because it's been unpleasant surprises, I'd say, the last couple deadlines. And, that's just kind of part of the Reds fandom, basically. But getting back to the starter stuff, like Abbott's to be on Thursday against Atlanta, Singer's on Friday, and then Burns.
That's
so,
right.
like, let's just, let's win these first 2 games of each of these series so that the third game we don't have to, like, worry about, we have to, win the rubber match. Let's just take care of business. Win the first 2 games. And then if we sweep, hey, you know what? It's pretty nice to sweep. I mean, it worked this weekend pretty well.
You think about the games Chase Burns has played in to start his career.
Yeah.
First start against the Yankees, second start against the Red Sox, and he goes and plays the Phillies, and then he played with the Rockies, and then
and one of those gimme ones against the Rockies.
Yeah, and then the next start is against the Dodgers, and then the second start after that's going to be in the Speedway Classic against the Atlanta Braves.
Unless something happens, because I don't know, things can change. Like you said, they might.
Unless Hunter Green just miraculously comes back, I think he's supposed to throw a Louisville game here soon.
So let's not do 2022 Joey Votto getting back to get into the Field of Dreams game type of stuff. Just because they want to. Obviously, it's a different scenario. We're in a different position, obviously, record-wise as well. But Hunter Green can pitch against the Pirates. and he's not out of the Pirates or I don't even know the Cubs that are coming up soon. Like I'd rather do that. But yeah, Chase Burns being on the big stage.
Every start.
I mean, it's Major League Baseball. I like to say they're all professionals. Depending on each team, but for the most part, they're all professionals. So you gotta go out there and win every game like it's your last. And what does our manager say? Win every damn game.
Yeah, so we're gonna go out there every game and try to kick someone's ass. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Love it. Kick some tail.
Kick some. Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts about this upcoming week? I mean, 3-2-1 Tuesday, Rick. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, 3-2-1 Tuesday. I guess a little bit of a shout out, Chatterbox Night.
Oh yeah,
that'd be kind of fun. Kind of meet some of the guys that I've never met before. I got to meet Mike for the first time. We do the pregame show together, so I'll get to meet him and his wife, and my wife and I are going, and it's gonna be some much needed time away from the kids, and just a night out and have some fun, and hopefully watch the Reds win.
So you're going to be doing the pregame and then going to the game?
No, we're not. They have someone else doing the pregame show that day.
Okay, but I thought you guys were going to be on site somewhere.
Yeah, we're doing something. We're doing it at I think it's Smoke Justice in Covington.
Oh, so it's pretty close to the.
Yeah, so we'll be right across the bridge, and then I think they're doing some kind of live show there. I just don't know how it's going to be set up yet.
Yeah. I'm sure the superstars and Trace Fowler and Nick Kirby.
Trace and Nick are going to be there. Mike and I are going to be there. I think Eric and Corey are probably going to be there. Reed might be there. Some Chatterbox guys are probably.
Cubs fans are allowed. You said.
Well, he'll be sat in the corner in the kids' table.
Yeah, he'll be working the
he'll be the bus boy.
The microphones to make sure that they're all sounding good, just doing the behind the scenes work so whatnot. So that's crazy. That sounds like a good time. 3-2-1 Tuesday as well. So
that too.
It's too bad that Ohtani wasn't pitching that night. That would be crazy.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he's not.
Yeah, but he's still just an opener, I think.
Yeah, he's only been going 1 or 2 innings.
So he's overrated. $2 million, not well spent.
Yeah, they could have had way more money.
Yeah, they could have
got somebody better.
They could get Nick Martinez for 21.
Although he probably hits like 4 home runs this series.
Do you just walk him? You give him the Barry Bonds treatment?
I mean, if it's close, if it's a 2-run game and the bases loaded, I'm walking him.
Yeah, why not? I'm not saying he's Barry Bonds, but he's pretty
close.
Pretty damn close, especially because he's. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other than Judge. There's not many really superstars in this league anymore.
No.
I mean, Ellie's getting there, so I'm not discounting Ellie. He's just 23.
Mike Trout 3 years ago.
Mike Trout. Yeah. What could have been?
Yeah, I say trade for him.
10 years ago?
Now, trade for him now. If you're giving up any prospects, just tell LA they got to cover 70% of his contract.
Yeah. I don't know. It's from what I've heard, like the anecdotal stuff around him is that he's not a guy. Like a guy who doesn't like the limelight. Not saying that going to Cincinnati is the limelight, but then there's like a different pressure because you're trying to save
the guy.
Yeah, you're trying to save. Well, he's the guy in LA too, but they stink, so it doesn't matter.
Terrible.
And they've only been to one playoff, appearance in his
rookie year.
Okay. Yeah. Baseball's weird, man. They had
Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, and they never made the playoffs together.
Didn't Ohtani win a couple MVPs during that time too?
They both won MVPs, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like you got to make the playoffs to be MVP type of player. But anyway,
I feel like one of those years they had Albert Pujols on that team too.
Yeah, Pujols had a good stretch there after his Cardinals contract, and they got extended again. That's crazy. There's not a LA Angels show. This is a Red show. Let's
wrap it up.
Yeah. Anything else coming up this week or anything?
No, just pregame show. Well, actually, I don't think I have a pregame show this week at all because the Friday game. I have Saturday. Saturday's our pregame show. We're doing the pregame show for the Speedway Classic.
All right, that sounds like a good time. That would be crazy to do that kind of pregame. Like, I don't know. Really, like, you have to get out your NASCAR stuff.
I'll find something.
NASCAR hat, get that going.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll find something for it.
Yeah. All right, and if that's all you got, go Reds.
Go Reds.
We're the Reds.